Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie Wismer. I am a freelance editor and also an indie author, and this video is a part of my release week content for my fourth book, The Anti-Relationship Year. So if you've missed any of the other release week content, I actually don't even know what order this stuff is going to be going up in. I'll have a playlist down below if you want to check out the other videos. But for today, I thought we could talk about money. I have several videos that are kind of related to this topic, so I'll also have those linked down below in the description if you want to check those out. Some of them are on my Patreon page. Some of them will be here on YouTube. So basically today we're going to be talking about exactly how much money went into making my latest book. I have a video like that on my first 3 books on my Patreon page, but I thought this time around we'll bring it over to YouTube. This is kind of a 3-parter. So I have one video that's on my Patreon page about my marketing budget and how much I spent on marketing for this book and where all of that went. This video is going to be how much I spent to produce the actual book, like editors, cover designers, that kind of stuff. And then I'm gonna have one video going up all about creating the audiobook, and that video will be about audiobooks in general, but will also include the costs of producing the audiobook. So the marketing and the audiobook won't be in this video is what I'm saying. And that audiobook video will be here on YouTube also. I thought it might also be interesting to kind of compare how much I stand to make from this book, like per book sale, and compare that to how much I spent. So we can talk about return on investment, making a budget, and that kind of stuff if you're looking to do this for yourself. So just in case you're new to my channel and you're not familiar with me at all. Like I said, this is my 4th book. It's technically a companion to my novel, The Anti-Virginity Pact. Each book follows one of the best friends. However, they're totally standalone, so you can read them in whatever order, read one without the other, it really doesn't matter. So this book is a new adult college friends to lovers romance following our main character, Joanna. And it's a dual timeline novel, her freshman year and her senior year of college. So let's start on book royalties and like how much you stand to make from each book, and so we can do that math and get that out of the way so what I talk about later makes sense. I have a whole video breaking down like how you can figure this stuff out and how it's different and what factors go into it also on my Patreon page, so I'm just gonna give you like the brief rundown version here. So how much you stand to make is different on every single platform, and it's different based on if you published directly through that platform or if you have another platform distributing to those places. It depends on the length of your book, what color paper you chose, the size, all of these things. But for this book, The Anti-Relationship Year, the ebook is priced at $3.99, so it's $4. So I guess I'll put like the math up on the screen. I'm sorry, I love this kind of stuff. The numbers and the math are really interesting to me. So at $3.99 at Amazon for an ebook, I make $2.75 off of that. On the flip side, the paperback version is $13.99, $14. So from Amazon, I would make $4.04 off of that. Now, I also publish directly through Barnes & Noble Press, so you can get a paperback there as well. So even though the paperback is priced the same way and I'm publishing directly through Barnes & Noble, their royalty percentage is just lower. So I only make $3.21 off of that paperback. However, weirdly enough, I make a little bit more off of that ebook through Barnes & Noble, so I make $2.79 from Barnes & Noble through that ebook. And then if we're talking about other places like Apple Books, if you read it on Scribd, because my books are available on Scribd if you have a membership, I get $2.37. I also did these little calculations for myself to see on average how many ebooks do I usually sell compared to how many paperbacks I sell. So I just used data from the year 2020. So last year my breakdown was I sold 67% in ebooks and 33% in paperbacks. So we will come back to these numbers. There's a reason why we're starting with this. So now let's jump into how much did it cost to make this book. So a couple of costs I guess we'll start with. I didn't actually spend this go around. Like I bought them basically in bulk for previous books in anticipation of having new books come out, like ISBN numbers, formatting software, things that I can use with multiple books. So dividing down the ISBN numbers that I bought in bulk, that came out to be $29.50 for this book. I purchased the formatting software Vellum a while ago for some previous books, and I now use it for all of my books. It was a $250 one-time purchase, so just dividing down how many books I have currently, $62.50 for this book technically. Now for the cover, as some of you may know, I also had the first book's cover remade to look like this so that they would go together and they would match, and I love them. I think they look super cute together. So although I kind of consider the first cover redo more of like a marketing expense, I'll tell you in this video too. So this book was a little more expensive than redoing the first book because I also had them make me some other things. So the cover itself, I had them make me the paperback, and the ebook obviously was $299. If you've done any research on cover designers and stuff in the indie world, I think that's such a fair price. I'm totally comfortable paying that much for a cover. I think they did a fantastic job 100% happy with that. I had to pay a little bit extra because like I said, I published through KDP Amazon and also Barnes & Noble Press, and their templates for their covers are different because their pages are like a different thickness. So the Barnes & Noble version is a little bit skinnier even though it's the same page count. So the cover file needs to be a different size basically. So $20 to convert the sizes for both of those. I also had them make me the audiobook cover, which was $25. And I also had them make me some marketing materials. They made me like some banners, some ads, stuff like that. A bookmark. So total costs for the cover, audiobook, marketing materials for just this book was $429 for the cover. And then so to get the first cover redone, it was the $299 again for the cover, also the $20 for the sizing thing. And then I also had to make me the audiobook cover for that, $25. So to redo this first cover, that was also $344. So technically this go around to have this whole series rebranded and to get both of my covers, we spent $773. With how much stuff I got and with how happy I am with these two covers, that seems totally reasonable for me. I'm perfectly happy with that. So then the other major cost for this book obviously was the editor. As an editor myself, I have been struggling to figure out my balance with editors and exactly what it is that I need, because every single editor I've ever worked with has told me this is the cleanest book I've ever seen before giving it to them, and then they don't have to make that many changes. But I still really value having one other set of professional eyes look over the book before I publish it. Like, I could technically just do the editing myself, but I like having someone else to still work with me, you know? So I'm still kind of figuring out what that's gonna look like for me in future books. Like, maybe I just need a proofreader, maybe I do developmental edits and not copy edits, and then I copy edit myself. I haven't figured out this perfectly for myself yet. So the editor that I hired for the anti-relationship year, she did line edits for me. The cost of this depends on how long your book is, how many words it is, because a lot of editors do it by word. I lucked out because when I booked her, her rate was lower than it is now, and she stood by the rate that she had when we signed the contract. So she's actually more expensive now than when I first worked with her. But for this book, which I think ended up being around 66 or 69,000 words, somewhere in the 60,000s, the editor ended up being $561, which as an editor myself, fantastic rate. I am perfectly comfortable paying that much for editing. I think she did a great job. I had such a good time working with her. She was so nice, so enthusiastic. I have nothing but positive things to say about working with her. The only thing is I still just feel like I didn't really need copy edits. I probably just needed more of a proofread. So we'll see which direction I will go with book 5. I haven't decided yet. But with the work that she did, her rate was totally fair. Definitely comfortable spending this. So all in all, the cost for just this book, not getting the first cover redone, I spent $1,082, including the new covers for book 1. I spent $1,426. So if you want to see how that compares to what I spent on my other books, that video is on my Patreon page if you're interested. I have a whole tier on self-publishing on my Patreon page. It's called Self-Publishing 101, and I put up 2 bonus videos over there every month. But let's go back to the numbers that we were talking about at the beginning. These numbers are going to be based on just what I spent on this book, not including the cover cost for redoing the cover for the first book. So in order to make back the money that we invested in this book, $1,082, we would need to sell either 393 ebooks, if we only sold ebooks, or 268 paperbacks if we only sold paperbacks. And I think I did these off of the Amazon numbers. So if we go off of last year's stats, I do math like this for fun. So if we go off of last year's stats and how I sold 67% ebooks and 33% paperbacks, I would need to sell 264 ebooks and 88 paperbacks just in order to break even. And then after that, I would start making a profit on the book. And yeah, selling 264 ebooks or 88 paperbacks. I've talked about this kind of in some of my marketing videos over on my Patreon page, how I determine my budgets and such. And I personally like to break even and start seeing a return on my investment and actual profits on my book within the first month of the book coming out, ideally. So that's kind of how I plan my budgets, and I base it off of, you know, how have my books performed in the past? What do I think I can expect with release month? So selling 264 ebooks and 88 paperbacks within the first month I think is 100% doable. So I'm definitely comfortable with how much I spent on this book, and I think it turned out really well. I'm so incredibly proud of this book. I'm so happy with it. I think the cover is super cute, and yeah, I can't wait for you guys to read it. The Anti-Relationship Year is coming out March 30th of 2021. I'm not sure what day you're watching this. Like I said, I'll have all of those related videos and such linked down below in the description if you want to go check them out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'd be super interested to know how you prefer to read your books. Are you more of an ebook person, a paperback person, an audiobook person, perhaps a hardcover person? Let me know how you prefer to read your books. I have found over the past year, and I don't know if it's just because of like the pandemic and such, I've been mostly reading ebooks and listening to audiobooks. That seems to be my go-to, although you can tell at one point I used to prefer the hardcovers. So yeah, I would be curious to know if that was what you expected, how much you thought I spent on my books. Is that what you would have guessed? So yeah, I would appreciate it so much if you wanted to pick up a copy of the book or copies of my other books. They'll all be linked down below, as well as my other release week content videos if you want to check those out. Maybe subscribe and stick around if you're new. I put up writing, editing, author content all the time, and I'd appreciate it if you would like the video if you liked it. Helps out my channel a lot. And if you want to stay caught up with all of my publishing and book stuff, I have a newsletter over on my website that you can subscribe to. I promise I won't spam you. I send out one email a month, if that, usually. That's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fabulous day, and I will just see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Bye. No.